So what we're going to do here today is we are going to look at how to connect our factory I/O factory simulation to our control logics processor. So you'll need to have the simulation, the appropriate program open. If you're following in the book, this is exercise A to B. You should have your stuff documented. I'm going to show you how we're going to link these together. You're going to open up Factory I/O. You're going to open a scene, and you're going to pick from A to B to open this scene up. All right. Once that scene is open, we have to set up the communications to our processor. You need to know the IP of your processor. That's typically going to be the yellow tag on the computer in front of you. You're going to go to File, Drivers. You are going to select the Allen Bradley Logix 5000 in-gear driver. It says host not defined. We're going to have to go to configuration. And here we need to type in the IP address of your processor, which once again is typically the yellow tag. My processor is this address. Yours will be something different. We're on a compact logic, so it's always slot 0. If I was on a soft Logix, I would pick probably slot 2, or a control Logix, it would probably be, just depends on where your processor is installed. We're going to leave this information alone. This sets up our data communication between our factory I/O and the processor. We will this doesn't work so well on the control Logix, so we're not going to use auto connect. So don't use auto connect. We're going to hit the back button, and notice I will hit the connect button here, and I will get a green check. Now, what a lot of students have problems with is they do their program offline and they download it. For whatever reason, when you download to the processor, it breaks this connection, and so this factory I/O doesn't talk anymore. When that happens, if you download to your processor, you need to hit disconnect and then reconnect. You'll see it flash, and we'll see everything is working. The darker green here means that's showing a binary 1 in the data table. If you do online edits, you don't have to do that. Typically, when we get into more advanced stuff, you do all your edits online. You don't have to do this. But if you're having problems with it not actually communicating, you need to go disconnect and then reconnect it. And it will, as long as you see this show up green and get the green check, you should be good to go. So here we have our box. And notice that we run down the conveyor and we have a sensor on the end. I'll rotate us around. I'm going to make this a windowed screen, a little bit smaller. Try to bring that in just a little bit, so long as I can get to the play button. All right, we're going to hit the play button. And if I zoom out just a little bit, I'll see that if I wanted to trip my sensor, I can drag it over here. Now, I told you before it was connected to these Boolean bits in your processor. Typically, we would not program with these Boolean bits here. We would program with what it's alias to, which in our case here is going to be our input data table, which starts on card 6. If you ever get lost which one you're on, the card 6 is factory I/O input, and card 7 is factory I/O output. So we're going to go to 7. Data. Now I see that there are 2 bits linked here. There's one that's factory. If I hit the stop button, notice that one of them goes off. That's the factory I/O running bit. So if you want to stop your logic and stop scanning that, you can use this one. This one is going to be my sensor. So what I need to do here is go ahead and label it sensor under the description. And to double check that it is talking, I think I'll just grab the box and kind of drag it over in front of my sensor and see if that bit goes off. If I can get it in, yep, see the bit's off. I got the eye blocked. And now the bit's on. And the bit's off. Okay, if my box falls off the conveyor, like it will, I'll need to hit the refresh button. If I get lost, you read the factory I/O instructions on how to navigate with the mouse. But if I hold the middle mouse button, I'll get a focal point, and I can shift that focal point around. If I double click on something, the focal point becomes active there, and I can rotate around it. By holding the right mouse button, I can spin around it. So you're just going to have to learn to play that. But if you get lost, there should be some preset camera positions in here that if you go to those, then you can get back to home. So it's just takes a little bit of practice. So now that we have this, we need to turn on our motor. We knew that our motor was going to be a Boolean output, and that is going to be linked to our output card 7. So we're going to go to the output data table, and I know that it's going to be output data 1. I'm going to go ahead and label that. I'm going to call that motor. And in order to see the communications, I can go in here and I can put a binary 1 in here. I hit enter, and the box begins to run down the conveyor. Notice there's no program yet. We're just reading data. At this point, it runs off the end. So our communications are up and working. Finish your exercise on this one or go to the next video.